Welcome to another episode of Dying with Diabetes in America. I'm here with my co-host, Myke Herlihy. Say hello, Myke.
Hello, hello. How are you doing this week?
I'm good. It's been a week. I've been waking up with really bad hypos, really bad
Mhm.
low blood sugars, and I don't even know where it's coming from. So I'm gonna have to make a few adjustments.
Has there been change in your diet or eating times or anything like that, or just random for no reason whatsoever, type 1 diabetes drama?
I'm drinking chamomile tea at night,
Hmm.
so I
Yeah.
add a little bit of cinnamon in it. So maybe that's like overnight
Mm.
cure.
Oh, are you still doing those weird kale smoothies?
In the mornings, yes,
Yeah.
that's what I have for breakfast, and lunch is a spinach salad with rotisserie chicken breast, and then dinner's the crapshoot. But
Do
it's
you
really
pretty
good.
do you pretty much stick to the same menu, the same few
Absolutely
things,
the
or?
same menu for the breakfast and lunch.
Hmm.
Absolutely the same menu. There hasn't been a change in so long. If there is, it affects me really weirdly. So I always think as long as I can make it an interesting dish, but be it
Hmm.
like with my morning smoothies, they're kind of the same, but it's a good same. It's a chocolate peanut butter smoothie.
With kale.
Shut the. It's a chocolate peanut butter smoothie. Don't ruin it for me. And then lunch, I realized there's a thing called, oh, I'm gonna get it wrong. I don't know the real name of it. The Flavor God or something. It's okay. So it's these flavors, literally just with different herbs that create these flavors
Hmm.
that are amazing. There's pizza. There's honey barbecue wings, and whatever you put it on will have that taste.
Hmm.
And so I've changed some of my salads only in that I put those on there. It's no carbs,
Hmm.
so I don't have to worry about that. No sugars. And it just gives it a different taste. So, that helps. But yeah, low blood sugars every morning sucks. I'm going to have to figure out what's going on. I'll contact my doctor in a couple of weeks if I feel it's necessary. But,
Yes.
you know,
Well, yeah, just another day of being a type 1 diabetic, basically. Yeah, sure.
But this new guest, the guest we're going to have tonight, I'm really excited about.
Why's
So,
that?
well, in all honesty, because she will be the first pregnant type 1 diabetic that I've really gotten to talk to while she's pregnant. Like,
Mhm,
I didn't have anybody to talk to when I was pregnant,
mhm.
but I'll get to talk to her. And, it's going to be, I'm very excited. Danny from last week actually suggested that she come on our show.
Mhm.
So I would like to present to you Leslie Gordon, if you please.
Well, hello, hello. Hey, Leslie.
Hey!
So, I was just telling Myke, you and I met through a mutual friend,
Mhm.
Danny, and he is the creator of Dead Pancreases Society
Yep.
and Dab Designs, which I'm going to back up right now and just kind of show my shirt. My
Oh,
body produces
beautiful.
Ah,
insulin like a cow produces rainbows. It just doesn't happen. I'd show you the back, but it's a whole churn and it's give me insulin or give me death. So
Oh, it's a good
very
one, yeah.
excited. Yeah, I was really excited with his just his outlook.
Yeah.
He's really positive, and I think that that's great. Running a Facebook group like he does, and we won't mention any names about any members that have been recently kicked out, but there are just
Oh,
some bitchy people. Like,
yes.
you're, you're
Yeah.
like,
I
just
appreciate the sense
chill.
of humor and,
Yeah.
yeah, just keep it positive.
So, I was really excited to hear that you wanted to come on, that you wanted to talk to
Yeah.
us. I love that you're pregnant because you're the first type 1 diabetic pregnant person I've gotten to talk to.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's exciting because I didn't know anybody when I was
Mhm.
I my best friend had gestational diabetes.
Mhm.
She took insulin that sucked, but
Yeah.
it's a different world when you're pregnant with type 1. So
Yeah, it's very
first,
specific.
Yeah, let's go back in time. Let's go. When were you diagnosed?
When I was 11.
Gotcha. So how did that come about? Did you get sick? Got a bit of hospital visits?
It happened pretty quick. I wasn't sick for a
Mhm.
long time. I was a competitive equestrian, and
I was gonna that was gonna get my next question. We're not there yet. We're gonna come back. So yes, and then you got sick in a short amount of time.
yeah, I was at a horse show away for the weekend, and
Mhm.
like as the days went by, I was getting sicker and sicker, and my mom noticed the symptoms. I'm not really sure why she knew what they were, but she'd
Mhm.
mentioned, like, I think you might have diabetes. And we went home when we got back in town Monday morning, went to the pediatrician, and my blood sugar wasn't scary. I know some people have really high diagnosis.
Yeah.
Mine was like 450, which
It's
is not
still
good, not
super
good. Yeah,
duper duper
yeah,
high. Yeah.
yeah. And sent me straight to Children's Hospital and spent the
Yeah.
week there. So
Okay. So I'm now kind of converting on the other subject. You sent me a news article with a beautiful, beautiful horse. Tell me about that. What were you into back then that you got to be in a news article? That it was all fancy. Come
well, I did all the jumping and show
on.
jumping,
Okay.
that sort of thing.
Nice.
I mean, we traveled like every other weekend, all the time, all over. And even a few weeks after my diagnosis, we just got right back to it, and we're
That's
traveling
good.
again. I think I was on my horse a few hours after I got discharged from the hospital.
Did you find that
um,
helped? Like, I mean, did you
yes.
find that love, passion,
Yeah.
really helped? That's beautiful. I mean,
Yeah. I
because I
mean,
was just
my
reading about it and I was waiting to read more about like your diabetes in it. And I mean, it shows you can read, and I'll send you the article, Mike, and maybe we'll put a thing in. But it was impressive. Like, you think about all the things that you have a problem with doing with type 1. Not that you want to limit yourself, but there's certain things that you're
it's
like,
tough. Yeah. It's
yeah,
tough.
I
Mhm.
wouldn't become a firefighter because I don't know if I can pull people out if I have a low blood sugar in the
Yeah.
middle of
Yep.
it. It's always really inspirational to see the stories of what we can do and what we can accomplish.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
Leslie,
yeah.
diagnosed at age 11.
Hmm.
Where are you from originally? Where are you born?
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh, and where you live now?
Back in Pittsburgh. Yep.
Back in Pittsburgh? Like
Okay.
you're gone away
Like
for
I
a
went
while
away
and
to
came back?
college and ended up
Okay.
here. So
So Pittsburgh. Diagnosed when you're 11, into jumping horses and all that good
hmm
stuff, and you were able to manage your type 1 diabetes enough where you were still able to compete, or is it something that
yeah.
you had to give
That's
up over
awesome.
time? Are you still involved in that?
Oh, I haven't in a few years with pregnancy and
Yeah.
family and stuff, but yeah. I mean, I plan to get back into it in a few years once
Mhm.
kids get a little older. I can sneak out, but
Now,
yeah. I
how
mean, I
many
never, for
kids?
health reasons, had to stop.
How many kids do you have right
Okay.
now?
I have a son who's 2, and then I'm
Hmm.
pregnant
Oh,
with a girl. So.
Oh, awesome! You got
Yeah,
that.
yeah, we're
Nice. And
excited.
how far along are you?
26 weeks.
26 weeks. Okay. Now,
nice.
having had a son and gone through it, like I know when Michelle got pregnant, it was a big issue being a type 1 diabetic. The
Mhm.
doctors were like, any pregnancy, of course, doctors are always on point, over
Yeah.
concerned about everything. But what's it
Mhm.
like being a type 1 diabetic? Is there additional risks that come along with pregnancy, additional things to worry about and fear?
Yeah, yeah. It's I kind of call it a full-time job because
Yes.
with
Yes. All the
managing and all the doctor's appointments, I have I
Mhm.
think 3 this week. Last week was the first week I did not have one. I had to get my blood drawn, but I didn't have a doctor's appointment, and it was like, oh my
They
gosh,
gave
what
you
am I
a
gonna
week
do?
off?
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's
Didn't know
All the
what to do
stars
with
aligned.
yourself. You're
I
like, I got all
didn't.
this. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and like they have what is it called? The perinatal um obstetricians.
Yeah,
The
MFM,
Yeah,
maternal
and
fetal medicine. Yeah.
it's those are the doctors that are like that aren't that don't really care about you. It's not that they don't care
Yeah.
about you, but they don't care about you. They're literally just looking at your baby and your baby's size and everything that goes into that, and going like, you're doing well, you're not doing
Yeah.
well.
And it's
Let's
hard
do
because if
better.
you're not doing well, the stakes are so high right now that it's so stressful. I mean, not doing well outside of pregnancy is stressful because it's your health and you don't feel good and whatever.
Right.
But I mean, right now it's like you have a day of high blood sugar and you're damaging a baby. That's really stressful.
Absolutely. I remember being pregnant with Ella, and they all tell you the same thing, that if your blood sugar's high, your baby's pancreas is going to compensate for it. So you're doing
Yeah.
stress, and that sucks. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like that's a total kick to the metaphorical balls. I'm sorry. Like, I can't always control how it is, and now you're going to make me feel bad for every single minute, hour, whatever that I'm high.
Especially the way pregnancy affects type 1 diabetes is wild. It's wild. It's just like a wild roller coaster. I don't know how else to describe it.
So, a weird question. Let me know if TMI. Did you nurse your son, like breastfeed?
I ended up just pumping because breastfeeding was really scary with all the lows and the timing of it.
That was the one I was going to ask you. All right,
Yeah.
so I have spoken to many, an endocrinologist, a nurse for endocrinologist, a lactation specialist, and I'm like, I don't understand how I could literally sit there and eat a Snickers while I breastfed my daughter, and I would go from 200 to 30.
Fast. Oh yeah. Fast. Yeah, and like one baby in one arm, juice in the other, and like after, I don't know, a couple weeks, we were like, this is crazy. Like this is, it's
I put it off for I did 6 months, and I had a couple of seizures bad enough to call paramedics.
Wow.
I gave oh my God, my mom tried to take my baby from me in the middle of one, and Mike can attest how much I love my mother. I love my mother more than life itself. I gave her a black eye, and I don't remember doing it. But I was in the middle of seizing, and you took my baby from me. It wasn't good. I mean, thankfully, she still loves me, so it's fine. But you are the first person that I've ever spoken to that has had that same problem as I've had. And I commend you. I should have stopped earlier because it would have just saved a lot of, oh my God.
Yeah, the pumping was easier because at least I could schedule it and I could be like, I'm about
You
to
could
pump, I'm
have
gonna
an
eat some
amazing
waffles,
meal.
or whatever. Oh my gosh, that was the best. That's like the one thing I'm looking forward to is like I'm gonna eat Frosted Flakes and waffles. And
oh my God, Frosted Flakes! Yes, I understand.
I haven't had them for years. Yes, since last time I gave birth, and I ate them a lot. Oh, so good.
I love it. I love it. My biggest craving when I was pregnant, and I would take like 25 units of insulin for it, which is a god awful amount, Mike.
Yeah.
So I would have a sub, pepperoni sub with sweet pickles on it, and like oil and vinegar, and you could put vinegar on anything at that moment. Like I would eat it. It didn't matter. I put vinegar on pizza when I would let myself have pizza.
Sometimes the baby needs pizza. It's for the baby. The baby just needs pizza. Exactly. I don't know. What are you going to do?
I remember just looking at my husband going, you have to go to Publix right now and get me Eggos. I need one.
Yeah.
I just need one.
Yeah.
So
it's urgent. Yeah.
So what kind of crazy pregnancy cravings have you had?
Definitely pizza this time. I've been eating a lot of soft pretzels.
I love soft pretzels.
Yeah, like I've just been craving carbs, like just bland carbs.
Yep. And it's okay. I'm craving carbs, and my baby's 11 years old. So.
Yeah. Okay. It's a good excuse right now, though. I like to use it as an excuse.
No, totally. So, I mean, okay, diagnosed at 11. What did they initially do for you? Did they initially put you on needles and on shots on MDIs?
Yeah, that was back with like NPH and whereas everything was so timed and regimented and so I did that for a few years. I think then they came out with Lantus, which was a lot better. So the 24 hours.
I was a huge fan of Lantus because it was the
Yeah.
24 hours.
Mhm.
You didn't
That was
have to
easier.
take one every 12 hours. It's like, I'm not
Yeah.
going to be awake at that time. You want me
Yeah, and then
to
it was like if you thought you were gonna eat dinner at 5, but it turned out to be 6, like it was a problem.
You
Yeah.
were so screwed by
Yeah.
that point.
Mhm.
So what do you do then for therapy like now? What have you evolved to?
I've had a pump since I was about 19. Once I went away to
Awesome.
college, I'd never really been interested before. And then when I went away to college and walking back and forth to the dining hall and hauling all my pens and stuff, that got annoying. So I've been on a pump since then. And
Awesome.
I have a tandem pump now and the Dexcom, which helps a lot.
Very cool. Do you use the Control IQ, the
Yeah, I
smart
have
AI thing?
it off right now for the last month or so, just because pregnancy with the insulin resistance is getting
No,
crazy.
no, no. It's now is not the time to rely on
No,
computers.
but I use it at the beginning because, the first trimester, you have all those crazy lows. So I
Yeah.
used it then, and that was so much better this time compared to my first pregnancy where I wasn't waking up at 40 all the time. And
Oh my God. That was the worst.
yeah, it was scary.
I just remember getting home one day and I was sitting down and I was like, I will have dinner in 20 minutes. In 20 minutes, it'll be dinner time. We're good. And I
Uh-huh.
fell asleep and I woke up just so low. And then I crawled to my refrigerator and I was guzzling down sugar-free syrup.
Ooh.
It wasn't good. It,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. So I got maybe 5
Mike,
carbohydrates out of the entire thing.
not even worth it. Oh man.
Exactly. But I mean, I have to say that being a diabetic, and I don't know about you, but endocrinologists were always like, having a baby is going to be impossible. Your diabetes will never handle it. You will kill yourself or your child. I don't know. Maybe I had really awful doctors. I'm pretty sure I did. But
Yeah, I don't know if I was told that, but I never planned on having kids because I was too scared. I knew what the risks were, and I
right.
never thought I would ever get pregnant. And but then I guess it's like 6 years ago now, I got the Dexcom,
Hmm.
and once I had that, I felt so much more in control, and I finally
Yeah.
felt like, oh, I can do this.
It's a whole different ball game. I
Hmm.
mean, it really is seeing your sugar real time and knowing how different foods affect you and everything like that, how different activities. Or I mean, shit, you get mad and you get to watch the Dexcom go
I
boop boop
know.
boop 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 boop, and you're like, yeah, that's because I'm pissed off at you.
My
This is what
favorite
you
was
did.
during the one of the final episodes of Game of Thrones in the last season, and
Yeah.
my I looked at my desk and I was like, I was like freaking out. Yeah, stuff like that. People don't realize that stuff like that like really affects you.
No,
Uh,
they don't. And I tease my doctor constantly because he's one of those that like, oh, it's not that bad. Stress doesn't. And I'm like, dude, I got in a fight with a friend yesterday. Look at my numbers.
yeah,
I'm like, you don't see a bolus because I didn't eat. I
right.
had to correct it 2 hours later. It was bullshit.
Yep.
And I think being pregnant, you really get to I can't imagine how much insight you have to have on your stress and emotional levels right now.
Yeah. Yeah, the Dexcom, it's priceless. I just love it. Maybe I probably check it too much, but I
No,
mean, I
I
have
think
to.
that with the technology today, and especially you being pregnant, and
Mhm.
you having a son before, you know that what we do affects what happens to them, and it sucks.
Yeah, and right
But
now it's easier because I've done it before, but I didn't have a toddler last time. So it's
I see a lot of lows. Are you experiencing a lot of running arounds and
yeah,
all that
lots
fun
of
stuff?
yeah, lots of running around and stuff. So it's definitely a different
Yeah.
experience, even though it's a little easier.
Now, your mom was the one that brought it up, got you
Mhm.
to the doctors, what have you. Have you felt like you have a good support system?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean my parents from day one, they never made me feel like my life was over and it was going to
Right.
change in a negative way. And like I said, my mom took me out to the barn and I got on my horse that night. And so, yeah, I always felt like, okay, it was just like kind of a new normal, and that really helped. And then,
Do you have any other diabetics in your family, or did your family have experience on either side, or you're just that unicorn, the
lucky,
first of
yeah.
the bunch?
I
Lucky.
got lucky,
There
yeah.
you go.
Let me just say that there are so many people that we have talked to that are the only type 1s, myself
Yeah.
included, in our family. And they're like, it's genetic. Really?
Yeah.
I mean, are you just telling me that somebody somehow went through their most adult life to produce a relative to get me? So they've done that with type 1 diabetes that was never treated?
Yeah, I was told before that they think mine was maybe caused by a virus, or they were researching that. I mean, I
They've
don't know.
brought that up. I've
Yeah.
heard that more personally as a trigger. So,
Right.
from what I understand, from what I've talked to the doctors about, and after I had my daughter, it was more of this certain genetic code could be part of your daughter's, and if it is, then these things can trigger it. Environmental,
Yeah.
viral, so on and so forth. But how do they still not know?
I know.
mean, it's 1922. These people discovered insulin. How do you not know what switch the light switch on?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if maybe in my family it's there, but it's dormant, or what, I don't know. I don't know how that works.
It's so I wish they would do more of it. If they're gonna say it's genetic, I wish they would do more of tests on it to see if that does lie dormant. It's annoying. Although, you of course are type 1. Is your husband type 1?
Nope.
So your baby has less than 5% chance.
Yeah, it's like
0.5% chance. I'm sorry.
it's less than
0.5.
1. Yeah. Yeah.
I know with my daughter, it's one thing that worries me. I don't know with you,
Mhm.
with your toddler. Like anytime she gets a cold, I'm checking her blood sugar.
I've never checked him.
And I didn't check her until she could understand, like, this is gonna hurt.
Yeah.
I'm gonna still kiss it, but it's gonna hurt. So don't hate mommy. So
Yeah, I mean, it makes me nervous, but
Mhm.
at the same time, if my child's going to develop some chronic illness, at least I know about this one. I guess I try to think of it that way. Like, worst case
100%.
scenario, at least like I can help them.
They have you to be like, no, I know it's BS. You've got your math exam
Mhm.
today. It's going to be crappy, sort of gig.
Yeah.
So I completely agree with that. I think it's great. Now, did you notice any problems that you had with your first pregnancy, your son's pregnancy? Like,
Not
did you
diabetes
notice?
related.
Mhm.
I was really sick the whole time, which wasn't fun, but uh
Mm-mm.
not yeah. They induced me at 37 weeks, so a few weeks early.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, there's nothing diabetes
that's
related.
awesome.
Yeah, so far this one's looking good.
No, I think it's great. I think that the things that we have now, and I don't know if you use them then, but the groups and things like that, and just an
Mhm.
outlet is so incredibly useful and effective just to get out there and vent about crap.
Yeah, so yeah, when you're having a bad day and you're like,
Yeah, you're
feel
just
like
like,
you're
F,
failing, and you go,
blah,
yeah,
blah,
and you can
blah, blah,
go and see people post their Dexcom graphs, and it's
blah.
it's like, okay.
Exactly. You're like, I can post
Yeah.
it here because you all aren't going to yell at me and be like, what are
Yeah.
you eating? Meh, meh, meh. And
Mhm.
I remember, oh God, it was a rough time. It was the best time. I loved being pregnant. Now I say all kinds of mean things about it, but I loved being pregnant because everybody's really nice to you when you're pregnant.
It's true.
And especially with diabetes, when you're like, no, I have diabetes. You have a
Yeah,
big
I'm a
pregnant belly, and
high-risk
they're like,
pregnancy.
oh my God, let me help you. And you're just, thank you so much. Thank you. So I did love I did love that. For me personally, I started having way too many seizures from the lows that I would
Yeah.
get. So I knew like
Well, you didn't have a Dexcom or anything then, right?
no,
Yeah.
no, I didn't. So I was very much so one and done. Now the Dexcom was available to me, but it was the creepy one that would like rocket shoot you back in the day. It wasn't all the pretty ones they have now.
Yeah. And it
And
probably wasn't as accurate anyway.
no, not at all. I had worn one as a trial
Mhm.
during the very first part of my pregnancy because I'm like, let me see. And so I was checking myself like 20 times a day,
Wow.
just
Yeah.
doing what I had to do.
Yeah.
Um, but I have to say the support that I got from my endocrinologist was really, really helpful during anything. So I mean, how do you feel with your medical team, as it were, without naming anybody or
Yeah.
making it?
Yeah. I mean, I've been lucky. My endocrinologist is really positive
Good.
and helpful, but she also kind of lets me do my own thing because she knows I feel comfortable
That's
doing it. And that's my
just like I
earbud.
was saying to Mike actually earlier with I've been having weird lows in the morning and I'm like, I'll futz with it first.
Yeah.
And then if it doesn't work, I'll contact my endo. And my doc gets that. He gets I'm
Yeah. So
not
does
gonna
mine.
bother him about
Yeah.
every little thing. It's like, no, I screwed up or like I don't know what to do anymore. You gotta help me out here.
Yeah, I mean, she's like, I mean, I'm happy to help you, but I don't see you every day. I don't live with you. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know why these trends are happening. So
Yeah.
that's
Did
nice. That's me do that.
Did you have any like weird diabetic issues? And I only asked this because I had one of my own, so I'm waiting, and then I'll tell you about my funny
Okay.
one. Did you have any weird diabetic issues when you delivered? Did you deliver at a hospital?
Hmm.
Did you have any weird diabetic issues?
No, I'm trying to think what yours would be. I'm like,
You
no,
won't guess it.
yeah, I know. No, I didn't. They gave me an insulin drip and managed my blood sugar during my attempted induction and C-section, and
Oh,
everything went
so you had a
well. And
C-section. I didn't
mhm,
want to ask, like, oh, vaginal C-section, but
yeah,
see, I am pro C-section, but they scheduled mine because my daughter's head was like between my ribs, and I
oh,
started to get
mhm.
preeclampsia. So they were like, "We're gonna cut her out," and I'm like, "Ah,
Well, it's tough because they try to induce you early. So I mean, I was 37 weeks, and my body was just like, nah. Like, it's like, I mean, like nothing
look
happened. It
at
was just
that
like,
pitocin. We're
yeah,
not gonna
seriously,
take
like
it."
nothing happened. My body was like, you're 3 weeks early. What are you doing? Yeah. So I mean, it just didn't work, and so I
Yeah.
think that happens a lot because we can't go full term. I mean, I guess we can. Some people try to, but
It's one of those things. I think there's so many other things that add up to it with the preeclampsia specifically and a
oh
lot
yeah,
of other things that it doesn't help us and children are normally bigger. So,
and my son wasn't, and they kept predicting like on my growth scans that he was
right.
huge, and he was born like 50th percentile. So
That's beautiful. My
yeah.
daughter was born at like 6 pounds 9 ounces. I believe it's been almost 12 years. I believe 6 pounds 9 ounces. But my A1C at the time was 4.9%.
Nice.
And it would have been if I had been taking care of myself properly. I literally just wanted to get my blood sugar as low as possible all the time. It's not safe. I don't recommend it
No.
for anybody listening. It is the dumbest thing you can do.
Yeah.
But at the time, I thought this is genius. I'm going to keep my blood sugar in the 40s, 50s at highest, and she's going to come out healthy. Eh,
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard when they give you the goal numbers, and the goal numbers are regular people numbers.
Exactly.
I
And it's like,
mean,
you should be this 2 hours after you eat. And you're like, in what world?
yeah, I mean, yeah, the numbers they're tough. They're tough.
Yeah. And no, I understand. And I was lucky. My first OB, she was awful, like absolutely awful. And she told me, if you're not the perfect diabetic, you're risking the life of yourself and your baby. And I was like, nah. So
Thanks.
I left her. I was like, bye. And I
Yeah.
found this other guy whose daughter was type 1. And I'm like, dude, you're my doctor. Like, I
Uh-huh.
don't care what my insurance says, you are my doctor. And I got him, and he was amazing. But it
Nice.
helped when I was like, my blood sugars are kind of crazy. And he's like, okay, I understand, blah, blah, blah. He got a preteen at that time.
Yeah.
So it helped. It was like, and then I tell him, like, your daughter's not always, high blood sugar because she's snacking. Sometimes she's just cranky. It's that time. It's shark attack week. You just got to let that happen.
Yep.
So, I think that there's a lot of misconceptions about uh, our disease and specifically about pregnancy. And like,
Mhm.
I love that you have a son. I think that is so, so
Mhm.
great. I love
I
that.
like
Yeah, you'll keep them,
Yeah.
you guess, but it's nice to also see that, and to show that you've had one, you're gonna have another, you're healthy, you're, moving along, you're being the diabadass that people need to see because people are scared.
I mean, it is scary. I mean, it's scary, but I mean, my first pregnancy, diabetes wise, I had a normal pregnancy, and
Mm-hmm.
so far, this one's normal, and it's a lot of hard work, but it's worth it. Obviously, the reward is good. Pretty
They're
cool.
cute.
Yeah.
They cry
Yeah.
and they crap a lot,
Mhm.
but they're cute.
Yeah.
As Mike knows, he has two. I'm the
Mhm.
only one with the only, but she knows I just did it once. She should be thankful.
Yeah, I don't really know why. Sometimes I'm like, "What am I doing?" Because after the first one, you come home and it's like, "I'm never doing that again." And then,
So
like,
again,
6 weeks later, you're like, "Oh, we're gonna have another one."
another TMI. Are you just going formula, or are you just pumping? Like you're like,
Ugh,
I'm not even. Because I'm
we'll
not gonna lie,
see.
if I was to ever happen, if that was ever to happen again, I'd pump and then be done. I can't afford that many Snickers anymore. Like Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know, we'll see. I'm trying to have, like, a general plan, but I don't know.
And
But I also
it's
can't pump every 2 hours with the 2-year-old. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's so we'll see.
very it's a hide and seek that will take a while.
Yeah, it's rough. We'll see. But
I think it's great though, and I think it's great to hear like you have support. So husband went through the first pregnancy, obviously was there for round 2.
mhm.
Awesome.
You like
So
him? Yep.
yeah, so we approve of him.
Yeah.
He's good. So I mean, like okay, so that sounds wrong. He is able to adjust to your amazing hormonal and blood sugar.
No, you had it right the first time. He deals with me. Yeah, that was fair. Um,
I gotcha.
yeah. Sometimes, he sees me looking at my Dexcom, and he's like, "Oh, what's going on?" I don't want to talk about it.
You don't need
Okay.
to know.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Now, does he
Yeah.
follow you on his phone?
Yeah, he does. Mostly he travels a lot for work, and so
Yeah.
it mostly just has the urgent low thing where he's
No,
called me a couple
totally.
times and overnight if something's scary, or he'll text me like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah. No, I
Mhm.
love that. That is the one thing I love about Dexcom is that you can have people follow you.
Mhm.
And like when I was in the middle of my transplant, whenever I would have an urgent low, I would have my transplant doctors texting me at like 2, 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
What's going on? And I'm like, I'm okay, drinking juice. And you'd have that, but I loved knowing that somebody always knew. It was never, why aren't you answering your phone? Are you not answering your phone because you're low? Or is it just because you're asleep and you forgot to turn the ringer on? That would be my
Yeah.
fault.
So it's a nice backup.
So,
You know.
yeah, I like that. Libre, I mean, they're trying to catch up. They
Yeah,
really,
they're
really
coming out
are.
with the new ones. They're supposed to have the alerts, right?
Libre 2 supposedly has urgent alerts and things like that, but you have to use the reader. And so I don't know how that's going to work. It's not exactly the same. And I only know that specifically because they haven't raised it $100 yet.
Fair.
You know,
Yeah.
it's fun times. So, I mean, we'll see what happens with it. I like it a lot better than a glucometer. A
Yeah.
whole lot better than a glucometer. I
Yeah, I
can't.
don't miss that.
No, it's not even the finger sticks. It was the inaccuracy, the not knowing where you were going after that. You know, I assume since you have a pump, since you have the T-Slim, that you're able to use extended boluses and things like that, which I remember helped out like so. I'm on pens now. I like it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm having a good time with it. So when I know I have to do an extended bolus, like I had to the other day, I took 3 units and I set a timer for an hour and I took 2
Oh,
units
yeah.
then. And I was fine, you know, but you hate to always have to remember that crap, especially if you're eating a mixed meal. Like,
Yeah, and with pregnancy, the pens would drive me crazy. Because, I mean, right now, I don't know if Mike, basically, they say it's like having type 1 and type 2 at the same time when you're pregnant. Because basically, you're taking insulin, but your body becomes resistant to it.
resistant, yes.
So, like right now, I'm on almost triple my pre-pregnancy dose. You just have to keep increasing how much you're taking. And so sometimes it'll be like 150. 20 units later, 148. Like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
You just have to keep so much insulin to get it to move.
But
That would take so many shots.
And I hope you know that that is unfortunately so common. Like
Oh,
that is not, it's everybody. I had to, quadruple my insulin needs, especially with, you know, just gaining weight with the baby and everything. That's resistance on top of its own antibodies going like, wait, no, what do you do? We don't like that. So it was so many things fighting against yourself.
Right. So even if that's the only time I get really frustrated, I guess, is when I know I'm working really hard and I'm paying really close attention and it doesn't matter because your body's just.
Yeah, your body's just like,
something.
No, what you injected water. What was that? That was Aquafina.
So that's the only time I get really mad is just like, come on. Like, I know I'm doing this correctly.
Completely understandable. It's aggravating because you're just like, no, I am doing exactly what I need to do. I've walked around, I've done my exercise, whatever I have to do at this point, and you're still telling me I'm going up.
Yes, sometimes Dexcom makes me mad with the arrows.
And the alarms. Oh my
Yeah.
God, the constant alarms. And
I know already.
I don't know about you, but I keep my parameters really small, so it would alert anything after like 120, and it would
that's where mine is
alert.
120.
And it would alert anything below, I think 65 was the lowest I could put it, and it was just like, oh my God, shut up. I don't need to hear you at 3:00 in the morning. I'm asleep. I don't care.
Yeah.
So that's gotta be super fun.
Yeah, especially when you're really tired.
Oh my God, I can't imagine. So you've had diabetes for how long?
So 20 years now.
Nice. I mean, how do you feel about the technology advancements?
Crazy.
With the Dexcom and the Libre and like the insulin that's not made from animals.
Yeah, I mean, I was never like obviously I don't think any teenager is, a great diabetic, let's be honest. But
no, totally.
I mean, I would hear people, they were complaining that their A1C was not under 7, like, oh, come on. And
like, dude, mine's 12 at the moment. I don't know what you're talking about. Like,
but now since Dexcom, I've had it for almost, I think, 6 or so years now, and
Yeah.
my A1C has been in the 5s since then, just
That's beautiful.
from the technology. I mean, I never thought that was possible, trust me. I was never that person that
And
was, like, so
well, I mean, and you
strict
think
about
about
it,
it, the
but
doctors were always like, "Oh my god, we just have to get you under 7." And you're like,
that
"Okay, I
sounded
have to."
that sounded crazy. Like, how what are you talking
Yeah.
about?
I
Yeah.
was like, "I'm sorry." And so my last one was 7.1, which is a little bit of
That's
heart
good though, yeah.
dropper. Yeah, I know, but it's a little bit of a heart dropper just because it's pre-trans or post-transplant,
Mm.
and transplant. It was beautiful. It was like Mike numbers with my A1C. It was BS, But I have to say, I mean, I think that the advancement that they're coming to is great. I think everybody needs to learn brass tacks. Like,
Mhm.
you have to learn how to count your carbohydrates and do a sliding scale if need be.
Yeah.
Because, if your stuff runs out or your batteries die, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I see people posting online questions about their pump, and they just got it, and I'm like, please read the manual. Like,
Dude,
please read the
right?
manual, please.
Like, or I mean,
Hurt
like, look
yourself.
logistically, how much basil did you used to take? Divide that by 24 hours, and it gives you an idea. And there's all these other multiplications where you like times the total amount of insulin that you take, and that gives you a certain number. But
Factor. And yeah, there's one of my favorite memes is that there's like a professor and this huge chalkboard and all the numbers, and it's like, in that class, it's how you calculate an insulin dose. Whatever.
exactly.
I
That's how
don't
you
miss that. I
calculate
don't miss that.
a compound meal. It's really
Yeah.
good times. I love that
Mhm.
they are posting more things on nutrition apps, because like I
Mhm.
know when I was pregnant 11 years ago, they had come out with it, but it hadn't been so advanced. And I love it. I think that's so helpful and so great.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember being 15 or
Mhm.
16 when I first really started learning to carb count, and we were
Mhm.
traveling to all these horse shows and everything, and before we leave, I would think of any restaurant that we would like potentially go to, and
What's the highest carb?
I'd print out their whole nutritional values and put them in a folder, put them in the car, and we'd go, and I'd have to look through Bob Evans biscuit or whatever we were eating. And yeah, I mean, now you can just look
You
up on
were
apps
so
and
prepared, though. I was here just printing out Yahoo Maps,
I'm kind of a nerd.
going, hope I don't get lost. And
Yeah.
you've got, wow. I have to say, I didn't look at carb counts until later on. It sounds really, really bad now that I say
But
it,
once
but
you learn it, it becomes kind of second nature. And
it does.
yeah, I mean, now I look at, like, I kind of think when I'm in a group setting or like it's a buffet, so like with family, 20 people,
Mm-hmm.
and y'all eating buffet style. And I've actually sat there and been like, I'm just looking at this stuff. I'm not
Oh,
seeing
thank
food.
God.
I
That's
just
where
see
I hope you were
numbers.
going with it. God.
Yeah, and like the amount of math I'm doing to do this right now, everybody's just laughing and getting plates of food. And sometimes I do think, I think we're looking at this differently.
No, totally. So I do the math on what other people eat sometimes. I don't mean to. Like, it's not, I don't
No
like seek it
judgment, but
out, but
yeah.
I might be with a friend, and so I order something and she orders something, and I'm like, I wonder if what I had chosen or what she had chosen is healthier or better than what I had chosen. And I look and I'm like, no, that's like 50, 70 carbs off. I'm good. I'll take
Yeah.
I'll take me.
It's like, no, you cannot have half my cookie. I already did insulin for that. Thank you. Like, you
Totally.
cannot share. No, I already did the insulin for it.
So, okay, so craziest things you have ever heard that will cure your diabetes. We've heard many different insane things. I'm down if you name the same thing. I'm down if you name a different thing. Cold
I mean, I think the
showers.
two that I've heard multiple times are obviously cinnamon, and that
Yes.
basically, like, that exercise will, change everything. Like,
Oh my God, don't you know if you drink cinnamon tea and then you
yeah,
do like yoga, you'll get cured?
yeah, that sounds lovely, but yeah.
Yes. So yeah, that's that's another one to add to them. We've heard so many things: cinnamon okra water, eggplant water, like whatever weird ass gross vegetable you can soak in water and
Ew. Yeah. I will say with the hormones and seeing like pregnancy Facebook groups and then people suggesting gestational diabetes things, and that irks me right now.
No, it's very annoying because there's a huge difference between gestational and type 1 diabetes.
Yeah.
And I was pregnant at the same time as my best friend, and she had gestational, and that was awful, of course.
Yeah.
But I have type 1, and
It's just not the same. That's all I'm
I
saying.
have to take 2 units. And I'm like, I had to take 25 for the exact same meal.
Like, I have to test 4 times a day.
Oh no, for you! How hard it must be. And your insurance okays everything because you have gestational.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Yeah. So I mean, all right. Well, Leslie, it has been great talking to you. I've loved hearing your story because, like I said, you don't. I mean, I have friends who are now type 1 moms, but being a type 1 pregnant diabetic it's big. It's an interesting outlook of things that isn't isn't solidified afterwards as being like, I got a cute baby. It's like, no, it's a bitch.
That was hard though, yeah, but that was exhausting. Yeah.
So I think it's great. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. We really
Yeah, thank
appreciate
you.
it. And I would love to have you on again if you don't mind after your little missus
Okay, yeah.
shows up. I think that would be great. And just check up and see how you're doing.
Yeah, I'll keep you posted these last few weeks here.
Awesome. So, all right. So, Myke, say goodbye, darling.
Goodbye, darling.
Bye, Leslie.
Bye.
So, thank you to each and every one of you who have tuned in tonight and to hear our awesome discussion. And yeah, we're just going to try to keep moving forward and sharing more stories and more laughs. So, again, Myke, you can say goodbye.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye, guys.